I'm so intrigued to hear these questions. I hope I answer them well.
Of course you will. Hi, my name is Meg, and I'm interviewing my producer, Jesse.
Hey!
I have prepared a few questions, and I'm going to be asking Jesse all things creativity, production, and more. Beautiful. Should we start with the hardest hitting question first?
Oh, okay. We're not easing into it at all. Let's do it.
No.
Give it to me.
As an objective listener, which song is your favorite on our EP?
You know what? Purely because I went into it without any pretense is the remix.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that. I wasn't expecting that.
Remember I messaged you one day and I was like, hey, this is out of the blue and like you don't have to use it, but like I kind of went into a spiral when I started working on this thing. Maybe there's like a connection that I have to it. I love it very much. So it is hard to choose because I really think that all of them are, number one, very different. And they like each have their own really cool characters. So like, yeah, it's so hard to choose a song. There's not one that I don't like. There's zero skips.
I thought you might say you couldn't pick, so I like that you picked one.
That's a cop-out answer. I have to pick one.
How long from when you started learning production did you start working with people?
Probably 2 years. I started learning out of like necessity just because I like had all these ideas and it was like hard for me to communicate them because I didn't really like know what, but I know in my head what I wanted things to sound like. So I just experimented, more easily create for myself. I really enjoyed it and I would do it for like hours a day and I would watch YouTube tutorials and I would read up about things, continued to feel more confident in the craft of it. I see it as something that you never finish learning, ever. Every single day I'm learning, I'm like gaining more knowledge, I'm trying out things, feel more confident than I did the day before, but I would never say that I'm like at a place where I'm like, I know what I'm doing, because I feel like if you have that mindset, then it's like the end of learning.
It's like the end of creativity.
It's like the end of creativity. I started working with people probably 2 years after that, and it started really rough.
As it always does when we're learning.
Does.
I was trying to learn production before we met. I was in like online courses, but I was trying to learn like Ableton, so I was like, yeah. I've heard that's like hard, I don't know.
They're just different. Like, I'm a Logic user. I love Logic. I love the UI of Logic. It's just, I think it's easy to use and it's easy to learn, and that's what I learned on, and then I just stayed. Okay,
that was also one of my questions, is why you picked Logic. Just because I know everyone has like preferences with what they use, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think I initially started on GarageBand and then it just like amateur. So I wanted to do something that was like a bit more advanced. But GarageBand is a great starting point for people, and it's like an easy segue to Logic because it was made by the same developer. If you start with GarageBand, which is very user-friendly and it's way less intimidating than starting with Logic, kind of move your way there, and that's what I did.
That's why I'm so happy we met, because I was trying so hard to convey my own ideas, but then I didn't know enough, and I honestly didn't have the time because I was trying to do other things like acting and music, and then we met and I was like, thank God, and you can convey all my ideas perfectly, because that's kind of why I started learning it, because I felt like I was never working with someone that could get my vision, so I was like, I guess I have to do this vision myself, and now I don't.
Yeah, and that was a big thing for me as to why I started doing it, because I knew that there's a lot of people who were like me in my position where like it was hard to convey ideas, and then I would work with people who they were good, but there was very much a divide between like artist and producer, and like they would throw terms at me that I have no idea what they're talking about. And I either pretend that I do, or I have to waste time and figure out what they're talking about. It was really important when I got into working with artists that I made it easy for people to understand. So like, I didn't want it to be something that I'm like doing and the person has to kind of like watch from the sidelines. I always want it to be like a very collaborative experience, something that like I kind of walk the artist through. I try to like explain things in basic terms, and I try to show options so that as much as someone can, they can understand what's going on.
Yes, and you do a good job of that, for sure, because I really like to understand the details, so. Can you explain the difference between mixing and mastering for people who don't know? Because I have trouble explaining this to people, because you mix my music, we don't master it.
Yeah, I'm not a mastering engineer, so like my knowledge of mastering is probably like less than others. Very clear terms, this is how I see the difference, is mixing is you're taking 100 different pieces and making them into one, and mastering is taking one final piece and altering it to adjust to other pieces. For example, in mixing, you have what's called stems. Okay, stems are all the little layers that go into a song. So there's vocals, there's like lead vocals, there's double vocals, there's stacks, there's drums, snare, kicks. I could go on and on. There's a million different things that can go into the song, all the different sounds, and you find a way to kind of put them all into its piece so that the song feels cohesive and it feels like one piece. Mastering basically takes that one piece and says, okay, we need to pull this forward a little bit into our face. We have to widen it a little bit so that when I listen to it on speakers or a car or a phone, it's gonna translate as best as it can, the same in every single context that we're listening into.
That was a wonderful explanation. The process of making music is how different a master can sound, at least to us.
Totally. Especially
when you get used to something in a certain way in the mix, and it always takes me an adjustment period.
Yeah, and that's a very normal thing. Like, it's never, I mean, very rarely do you get a mix and a master that sound really similar. You also can, like, again, direct the way that things sound. So like when I was doing my album LP2, I was really involved in the mixing stage, even though I didn't mix it. But then when the masters came back, it was very different, and it was mastered very much like a pop record. So it was really bright, it was really compressed, it was really pushed forward, and it lost a lot of the density for me. And I just advocated for myself, and I was working with the mastering engineer, and I said, listen, great job on that, but it's just a little bit different from the vision that I'm going towards, and I wanted something that felt a little bit more analog feeling and that felt a little warmer.
Interesting how, like, through the mastering process, like, someone who's mastering it hasn't heard our whole process start to finish, so
True.
They might have a totally different vision for what it is or what they think it should sound like. But it's all about communication, and it all works out.
It really is. There's no right or wrong with these things, ever. There's no right or wrong with mixing, there's no right or wrong with mastering, so a lot of it is just to taste, figuring out what you like and how you want something to sound.
Sometimes feel like there is a right or wrong. You always remind me that there isn't.
There's a very subjective reality when it comes to music, so like a lot of modern pop, let's say, is mixed very bright. The vocals are really airy, like it's all hard hitting. There's like a really like tight sub. Like those things are just kind of trendy, but it doesn't mean that that's right or that is what it should be, because those things also change over time. Like if you listen to music that came out in the 50s and music that came out today and music that came out in the 70s, like it all kind of sounds different. They have different characteristics.
It's like someone could listen to your own music and be like, oh, I would have done this differently. Like other people can have opinions about our music too. It's just the way it is.
And I have that opinion about other people's music all the time.
Do you find it hard to listen to other music now that's not like ours or something you've worked on?
Find it hard how?
Like, do you feel like you can enjoy songs, or do you feel like you're always kind of picking things apart?
Like, probably 70-30. 70% I'm listening to things as a mixing engineer and a producer, and 30% of the time I'm listening just because I really like it. Numbers a bit off. It's just very hard for me to listen to something and not pick it apart. I love how modern pop is mixed and produced. I love the textures that go into it. I love listening to glitchy electronic music and experimental music because it tickles parts of my brain as a producer and as a mixing engineer that are unlike anything else. I think I just really enjoy listening to it with those ears on. It almost feels like a privilege that I can like understand what goes into the making of these things. It is hard to shut that part of my brain off, but I also enjoy it.
That's a really good way to put it.
Thank you.
I agree with that. I feel like I pick things apart when I listen, but it doesn't take away from the enjoyment. It's almost like a different type of enjoyment.
Yeah.
For me, you'll send me different versions of a song, and maybe I could say, could this be quieter or louder, whatever. I have like a very basic understanding, but for you, do you ever find it hard to know when a project is done? Because you could always like change a level, change volume.
I do tend to get like a certain level of satisfied.
Okay, good.
With the song. So when I listen to a song that we're doing, and in my head I know that there's things that, like a checklist of things that every time I listen to it, I'm like, I need to do this, I need to fill this gap, I need to, you know, whatever it is. Once that checklist is done for me, I feel like I've gone through everything that the song needs. A lot of those things are more of the creative side, where it's like, for me, I look at it more from like a factual side or like a laundry list side. So I know that there's things that I have to do. I get them done. And then if it sounds good, like, this is also going to sound weird to say out loud, but, like, when things are not distracting, it means that they sound good. So, like, when I listen to a song that I've been creating with someone and I listen and nothing stands out at me, then to me it feels good.
People can get hung up on that. Like,
Yeah.
perfecting it, and there's always little things you can add, take away, or like, and I think that can prevent people from releasing music, or, you know, even like a painting, you could always add more touches to that, and it's just kind of, I was interested to hear, like, how you know when something's just done, and you're like, okay, I can't keep fine-tuning this, so.
It's also different when it's my own music that I create rather than, like, when I'm brought on to a project, because I can get a little bit more detached from it, so I can gain a little bit more clarity. Like, I think that, like, to that point, I think a lot of people do get stuck in that because it's either a perfectionist thing or it's an anxiety thing, but it's something of theirs and they want it to be perfect before it goes out into the world, and, like, more of than anything, like, nothing is ever going to be perfect, and also it's just the act of, like, letting go. Like, not to say that it's good enough, so you should just release it, but, like, there's no point in going over something 100 times when, like, no one actually cares. Like, they just want to hear your music.
Yeah.
You know? Because that's the most important thing.
To reach a point where you just say, it's done,
yeah,
it's ready. But I don't know, every time, like, we're at that stage, I just feel it. Like, it's just this innate
Yeah, you just feel
I'm just like, it's
yeah.
done. I wouldn't change a thing. I love everything. And then you just release it from there.
Yeah, and you're good with, like, getting to that point. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they do struggle with it, but, like, you get to the point where it's like you feel it and it's like we're almost done, and then you go through the list and we're like, hey, it's done.
Yeah, we always have, like, a few checklist points towards the end, and then I'm sure you have your own, and when I listen to them back, like, months later, I'm still like, there's nothing I would change.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's good.
That's always good.
That's always good.
Is there a part of, like, production that you enjoy the most, like drums, synth, mixing?
I really enjoy mixing. I think it's probably the thing that I feel most confident in. Necessarily like an instrument group like that in production, but it's more like when I go into experimenting phase. So, like, if I take a sound and I manipulate it to do other things that I didn't know that I could do with this sound, and just to see kind of how far I can take something from its original state, that to me is always fascinating. So that's probably the part of production that I love the most.
Is it true that people say, like, when you're producing, you're just, like, going through sounds? Like, you have, like, a whole bunch. Oh, our food is almost here.
Let's do it.
Okay, sorry. Our sushi.
Okay, be right back.
The last question is, what are some good qualities in a producer that new artists can look for?
That's a good question. I have my own definition of what I like. There's good qualities that I try to do as a producer, and I think the biggest thing is like helping steer the vision of the artist. Like, this is not about me. Just I would like to at times like implement my own ideas where I see fit, but like if it doesn't align with the artist, like you really want someone who is just going to fulfill the artist's vision. And I can put my own spin on things and I can bring my own expertise, but at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter if I like it or if I want to do something more. It really has to do with the artist, because like you want them believing in it. Someone who's going to let you steer the boat and they're going to help you get there.
I hear a lot of other things, you do other projects, and you work in so many different genres, and it's really interesting as a producer to be able to kind of mold into all of those different genres and preferences of each artist.
Someone who's going to figure out your sound. I don't think that there's any two people who sound the exact same, so you have to, as a producer, figure out what makes this artist unique and bring that out in the music.
Someone you feel comfortable like having mediocre ideas or bad ideas in front of, because I feel like I've been so insecure to say some things, or I can even bring something to Jesse and be like, I know this idea is not fully developed, but like here's kind of what I'm thinking, and then he can help me bring it there, whether it's lyrics or production. So just someone you're comfortable to like fail in front of or like not do your best.
Totally, like this process is so vulnerable that like it's almost like therapy at times, and you want it to be with someone that you feel comfortable and safe with, and that you can let anything out and not be judged, because that's really what the process is like sometimes.
And that's how good ideas come
Yeah.
about. Like we did reacting to our demo tracks. Like sometimes we start in a rough place when we begin a song, and it just has to be that way. So I think that's what people should look out for. Genuinely the worst lyrics I've ever written in my entire life.
This production sucks. Like, I cannot get over this.
Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Jessie for answering these questions today. We loved hearing your thoughts. The EP, Easy to Miss, is out on all streaming platforms, and it'll be linked down below. Thank you for watching. Bye! We're going to go work on another song now.